Hello and welcome back to the FNtasia podcast number 54. We've got Boop NL in the building. We got the big dog Reese Hub in the building, and we are here to talk about Fortnite. New season is here. Fortnite is super this season, and we'll be jumping into all of what that means and what is going on in this amazing new season. If you want to,
you're gonna have to say that on broadcast. Hey guys, Fortnite super this season.
I won't have to say it. No,
I don't pay enough for that one.
No, they don't pay me anyway. They're enough to shit out for the seasonal naming. But yeah, let's talk about the new season. I want to jump straight in and sort of get you guys' thoughts. I'm sure you have been watching a bunch, Group. I'm sure you've been playing a bunch, Reese. I'm curious to know off the bat from you, Reese. Have you been playing as much as you played last season? Because for the viewers who don't know, Reese played more Fortnite last season in the Star Wars season than anyone else on Earth. Like, he was loving it.
Maybe any more ranked than anyone else on Earth. There's definitely some like some 8-year-olds who love Star Wars who ended up playing more than me.
Sure.
To answer your question, absolutely not. Yeah, DJ was one. Absolutely not. So at the start of the season, day one, usually what I do is I jump in and I test a bunch of stuff in ranked, play it, and get a bunch of clips for video, blah, blah, blah. But this time I was like, I'm not going to play ranked because every day I play ranked on day one, Nolar messaged me, says, you got any clips? And I say, no, I have none, mate. I've died game after game. I'm awful. So the first day, for context, I sat and played solo pubs. So if you watch my video, I played like 4 hours of solo pubs. Best decision I've ever made. Pubs is really fun, by the way, just in case you're wondering. Just pooing on bad players is actually genuinely fun. But it gave me lots of clips from my videos. And now I immediately understood this meta is horrific. Like, you see the base boost, you see all this really broken stuff. But I made a tweet and where I was incorrect in that tweet. Now, my tweet basically said, this season is really fun for ranked and pubs, but tournaments, this may be the worst meta of all time. Now, I was wrong there. It is still basically the worst tournament meta of all time, but ranked fucking sucks, man. It's so bad. Oh my god. Like, so after making the video, after playing my day one of pubs where I had that mindset, I went in and yesterday, me and Deej sat and played a bunch of ranked. It was probably the worst day of ranked we have ever had in my life. We gave up. Like, we ended up just jumping straight in and ended up playing the reload. And me and him were both human. Like, we were not having a good time. We lost a good thing, man. Yeah. We were W keying, you land off spawn, 5-6 minutes looting, you get stuff, and then you get into a fight, you're scanned, you're base boosted. DJ shoots me with a base boost for some reason, knocks every build off I have, gets me killed default. Every round is just like base boost, scan, base boost, scan. It's so boring. So we actually gave up. If I look through my match history, there was 6 matches in a row where I had no kills because I was just dying. Man. It was like, you're just dying. There's just the most unskilled stuff of all time. So yeah, we went and played reload, and that was way more fun. So already given up on the rank grind.
That feels like what I feel as well. Like, I haven't played ranked in a while. The first day I had fun with it. And then I just die or spawn. I'm like, man, do I really want to play this over reload? Like, the TikTok monkey brain that I'm having now, it's just, reload just made it too fun to play and fight like constantly. Yeah. Right? It's compared to Battle Royale. They might have actually just ruined the game with reload because, like, you got TikTok versus YouTube now. Like, you just want to start some TikTok now, man. It's easy.
Sometimes I want to listen to podcasts, okay? Sometimes I want to listen to podcasts.
Sometimes you do, yeah.
When I'm listening to podcasts, people, it's not an intense feeling. It's not. I'm not locked in.
It's relaxing.
It's relaxing, yeah. Yesterday, I got absolutely dunked on by Andy Z. Like, I died, and I was like, that was a pro that just killed me. And I was like, I'm checking replays with Anonymous, and it was. He absolutely shit on me, and I was like, I want to play reload. Those guys are not pros. Like, those guys. Those guys.
I want to play the 9-year-olds.
I know, they're playing with their feet, mate. Those guys, they're fun. That's some fun gameplay. I'm just out here getting cooked either by base boosts or pros right now. So, yeah, early rank, not great. When some of the bad players get up to like high ranks, with this meta, it's still not going to be fun. So I'm just kind of waiting until some stuff gets nerfed before I think I do the ranked grind this season.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that you played solo pubs for your clips for your video, just because I watched your video and I was like, bloody hell, Reese is moving it, you know? Like,
yeah.
Unfortunately, I have a TikTok brain as well, so I didn't do this. But while I was watching the video, I was like, I'm gonna check the comments and like see if people are commenting on just how good some of these clips are. Like, you were messing people up.
I'm primed up right now. That's all I'm saying. Moving. I'm primed up right now. Yeah,
you absolutely were moving. And for all the people listening who haven't watched that video, go check that out, because Reese talks a lot about, you know, the weapons. It's one of the best videos of every season now. You know, he gives his ranking of where all the weapons are. And so if you want to hear more about that, I'm sure we probably all echo the same opinions there. Now, what we do have to talk about with the new season, which is obviously different, is when it comes to some of the leveling up and the grading system that we have this season. Because items and stuff like that, like you a lot of the time you figure those things out pretty quickly. You watch a couple pro videos and you figure out what the pros are using, right? But what we have to talk about this season, which is important, and it's something I think about every season as someone who, you know, is a viewer of competitive, right? I think we always are talking about like competitive from the perspective of playing, but someone who's solely focused on just like viewing competitive more so than playing. Whenever there's a season with added layers of mechanics, which I know aren't going to show up on the broadcast when it's time for me to commentate on it, I'm always like, oh, okay, what's going on here?
Luckily for you, they don't matter as much. That's my disappointing thing of this season. I mean, they matter, but they don't really. Like, in the broader sense of scheme, the average person will never notice that someone's superhero rank will make a difference, other than maybe if they show in broadcast that they're opening an A+ chest or a B chest or something like that.
Yes.
Other than that, you don't see shit. Like, compared to, like, right now, obviously the focus is on the meta and the items itself. So, you know, it's maybe kind of harder to distinguish between the boons and shit. Because, like, I don't know what boons anyone has. I've been watching scrims for the past 3 days. It doesn't show the boons on scrim replays, even in replays as well in general. So you have to watch people's streams. But even when you watch people stream, the only thing you can actually notice is when they go invisible once in a while. You know, it's like, oh, he's got that boon. Oh, he's got that
icons in the bottom left on their stream, but it's
hard.
Are there?
Oh, yeah. But you'd have to know what they are as well. You know,
that's
like,
what I was gonna say. Like, I don't know what they are, but those icons. Yeah, there's 7. So. There's 4 right now. There's only 4 in the game.
I swear there's more.
No, they're all like future ones. That's like, there's only 4 boons. So there's like Storm Chaser.
Do we know when we're getting those extra ones?
No. I mean, yeah, I assume they're all just leaked from the future, but I don't actually know. I mean, all of them are really good, but like, you know, there's a Storm Chaser one, which is probably the main one where you're in Storm and you gain shield. And then that's the one if you're an S rank, you get forecast, which, yeah, I think that one's not in comp, so.
Because it also gives you forecast at S+, so.
Yeah. But yeah, all that stuff not shown on broadcast. But I think the main thing I've seen so far about what makes the superhero ranking good is once you get to A, because all of those hero caches are 100% spawn rate of giving you purple gloves when you get to that. So that's obviously just the meta at the minute. So like getting to A rank is massive. So yesterday, like Clix's team, for example, shrines around them, they can put the little blobs in the shrine. You get like massive amount of superhero points. There's the training academy they have in their drop spot as well. So they can instantly get to A rank. They all get the triple gloves. So unsurprisingly, they do really well in evals. So it's like getting to the superhero ranks is important once you get to like A to open those caches. But I don't know how, like, if the boons aren't that important once you get to S, I'm not really sure how good it is either. There is also like a regenerating effect that I hope someone can explain to me at some point.
Yeah, I don't know how the fuck all of a sudden some motherfucker gets 100 shields. Like, how is that coming from?
No, there's like a white HP one. Like,
it also shield. Like, I've been getting shield randomly ranked. Like, where's this coming from all of a sudden?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. I keep seeing my HP go up, bro.
They mentioned that you get 100 effective HP on level up. And when the season first came out, I was like, oh my God, they're making everyone super fucking human. You're going to have 500 HP in late game because you're going to be S level. That's not how it works. The wording was very, very bad, as it usually is with Epic.
Yeah, but... so what does that actually mean? Because when you said that, I was like, I just don't believe this. I thought
it's just when you got it, you would just instantly just get that HP.
I thought it got added onto your health total because it says you get 100 effective HP per level up. I mean, what else could that mean that you get under extra HP, right? Like,
okay, so that's how
what
it
I'm
works,
assuming is that I guess my guess is that each level is like it's a fifth, so I think it's like 20 from C to B. I don't think you do full siphon, so I think it's 20 from C to B, 40 from B to A, 60 from B to S, and then like 100 from S to S plus or something that goes up to like your shield. And that's what I'm guessing it is.
I
I'm
thought
sure
it was
someone
just like
can
a
do the math.
siphon. Like it wasn't like I didn't think it'd be an add-on to your HP because that would be
Yeah.
mental.
That's what to be fair, I thought that it was that because at S plus you get like all the boons, right? So I thought it'd be like superhuman, super damaged people versus chunky
Honestly,
people with 500 HP,
I
which would have
wouldn't
been better than maybe this. It would have been kind of fun. I don't know.
I wouldn't have ruled that out, to be honest, because
Makes
that
sense,
is also something
you know?
I can see them doing.
Superhero season, so why not?
I'm glad you guys had that moment of confusion there, because the next thing I was going to ask you guys is on like a meta level, like a macro level, sorry. How do we feel about these types of things in the game? Because I know there's like a large audience of people who don't want just things like they don't want these added layers. Like Battle Royale, Fortnite and Battle Royale as a category, it's the simplicity of we all are dropping onto this one island and it's the last person alive. There's a bunch of loot about, different degrees of how good that loot is. But at the end of the day, that's all it's about. I know a lot of people don't like when you have all these added layers of like, I have better loot because I looted this chest and leveled up to be this superhero grade, and you like, you know what I mean? Like, how do we feel about these? Because we've had seasons in the past that have had like similar elements of like, you know, you had different things that level up or whatever, and so it meant you had better loot or different advantages here or there. But are we a fan of these things in the game, or do you think it's inconsequential?
I am not a fan generally. I think the one cool thing about these is that there's often a good storytelling and analytical points we can make, right? Like this season, there's going to be different ways of like this person got to this rank, which gave them this item, which you know they were able to win. But you know, like there's good stories, there's good analysis you can tell on it, but it's just overly complicated. Like I like Fortnite because I want to see someone hit a crazy triplet at one pump. You know, I want to hear some bangs, I want to see some maxes. I don't really care that much about the augments or the crazy mythics, you know, all these like extra things that I'm sure a lot of casual players, you know, maybe they care about them, but the superhero ranks, all that kind of stuff, I think on a macro level, they're definitely not where I'm not excited about that. When I heard it to start with, as soon as I heard about the boons and all and the way these work, I was like, you know, that's it fits for the season, but it didn't excite me in any way, you know. And when you're playing, I was just like, mate, I'd rather just get some weapons and fight some people. You know, that's more my thought. I'd rather not have to worry about a secondary task that isn't kill people and win the game.
I'm on the opposite spectrum a little bit here. I like that there's some difference per season. Like I don't like when it's overcomplicated and like it's hard to see it, especially like I said from a view perspective. Like it's impossible to they don't care enough to change on the spectator client and replay system. So you know, in competitive, it means nothing a lot of the time for the broadcast, which is really hard to follow a lot of the times as well for certain things. So, but at the same time, I like that there's specific nuances and things that pros can figure out, and then they can shock you when it comes to like finals lobbies. Like, you know, there's a few things already that I've been told, like, oh, that's a pretty cool way to level up to get this chest early or something, you know, like, or you know, maybe there's like a thing where you notice where all the chests are that are A+, that's where zone pools or some shit, you know? You wouldn't be surprised if that's some way that Epic codes it, like something like that. So stuff like that, I think, makes it interesting because, like, I like when pros go in and grind and figure shit out, and then they bring it to the big stage in FNtasia Grand Finals, kind of like the Swizzy and Vanya season, like, oh, that's how you use the wings, and no one realized that you don't take fall damage anymore. I think that's cool. But then when you combine that with items and stuff like that, then it can be quite chaotic and excessive, and then it usually at the start of the season, it's usually, hey, this needs to be removed, that needs to be changed up, and then it ends up not being competitive anymore anyway. So it's a bit of a blue ball sometimes from our from view perspective.
I think from our answers on this, I think I'm seeing the divide in all of our previous games. You know, Boop is more of like a League of Legends man, so he likes to level up and farm this and that and get all these added, you know, upgrades and whatnot. I don't think Halo had stuff like that. Reese did it.
No, you just hit nothing but headshot snipes and triple. Oh, what was it going to be? BXRs. You don't know about the BXRs.
I don't know.
You don't know anything about the double shots, the BXRs. Oh my, the BXBs, mate. Oh, like, whoa.
Please let us know in the comments if you have any clue what Reese is on about.
That will show your age if it is. I'll tell you.
It will.
I'm talking about Halo 2, 2004.
I played Halo my PC in high school, bro, as well. But I don't even know what
Oh,
the fuck you're talking
Combat
about.
Evolved,
It was
mate.
Combat Evolved. Yeah,
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
There was a guy in my school that brought it in a USB stick. It's like, yo, let's play Halo, man. And
That's
we had to plug it in. We had to hide it in the
Yeah.
files and shit. Otherwise, like the server admin to find it. You know,
That's
crazy.
sick.
That's good.
we're grinding.
I'm a
And
CS man,
RuneScape.
so CS, none of that.
RuneScape.
None of this. I buy my weapons every round. I get to shoot in headshots, snipes. That's it. And maybe I felt this a lot because right now, like the CS:GO majors happening right in Austin, Texas, and I've been able to jump back in and watch a bunch of CS. Like I've not been following it all year, but I've been able to jump back in, and it's been so fun to watch. The storylines have been unbelievable, really fun, and it made me think about the parallel to Fortnite of like, whenever we have globals every year, you get a lot of people who are jumping back into watching competitive Fortnite for the first time in maybe a year, a couple of years, right? You see, we get it on the podcast in the comments, right? We've had it both years now where it's like people are like, oh my God, like, I've just got back into Fortnite recently, been watching this final, this big event, and it was really cool. I'm like, if you're that person that's jumping back in and you're watching, there would just be a lot of elements. And I know sometimes on the broadcast, these things don't even get shown anyway, so you might not even be like noticing it. But if you were jumping back in and you knew about Fortnite, you might see someone do something or get something, and you're like, oh, how's he gotten that? And you just have like, you would have just no idea, and it wouldn't be obvious to you, like how or why that would be happening, like even if it's just like seeing someone doing something from like the effect of a boon, right? Like you might see someone sprinting while healing and you're going, oh, how's he doing that? And you literally would just have no way of ever knowing. Whereas like, as a CS fan, like me jumping back into that game, there's like nothing I'm watching on screen like that. Like all the interesting things are in the storylines between teams and players and matchups, right? Like there's nothing in the game that I'm watching, and I'm like, hold on a minute, how's that happen? Where's that come from? That's one thing I always think about in Fortnite. If things like this in the game make it harder to jump back on and understand what's going on.
That's my number one asked question on stream is, what does levels do, Boop? And I keep getting it every single day. What does this do? I just came back to I was playing Valorant, Boop. What the fuck is this? It's every season.
Ironic from a Valorant player, though.
I know. I perma-banned the second I see them say they play some Valorant.
Like I don't want to ever hear a Valorant player complaining about that shit, bro. Like I try watch Valorant's like major or whatever the tournament stage is also happening at the same time as the CS1, and I jumped in and I tried to watch one match, and I was like, "There's too much going on. I can't watch this shit." All right. Well, look, new season. Let us know in the comments if you're enjoying playing it, what you like, what you don't like. When it comes to new season, of course, this is, we're heading towards Major 3. This is the major before the global season, which is always an important one because we have teams locking down POIs, locking down spots. We have teams moving regions to get practice, teams trying to qualify still who are big names, big players. And so with that, you damn sure know you're going to get a bunch of OFFSPAWN drama. And we've had a good amount of that already this season. The biggest one that we have to talk about, Peterbot versus Poyo OFFSPAWN. I mean, this is an OFFSPAWN battle that, it's all you have to say is it's Pete versus Poyo. And you're like, because, they've had their seasons fighting up against each other. Obviously, season 1, obviously season 2 wasn't as great for Poyo's team. But just having Pete versus Poyo in an OFFSPAWN battle after seeing them battle together for so long has just been really entertaining to watch. As of the time we're recording this, there was the eval yesterday where they fought each other in the final. Poyo's team won 3-1 OFFSPAWN.
Big Pete.
Big Pete was getting put down by Big Poyo. So
yeah, he's getting put down. But he won the one game that they won OFFSPAWN.
He did.
So
they
100% success rate.
Yes, and look, Poyo's team didn't win a single game of the games that they won.
They didn't do as well at the OFFSPAWNs, but they did well in the leaderboards overall.
That's all that matters.
I'm gonna say, what matters to you guys now? How do we see this playing out? Do we see them just continuing to fight each other on Spawn? Like, does it matter that Pete's team's not winning the OFFSPAWNs as much, but doing better? No. Does that make them more likely to stay? Like, where does this go from here?
I think this is a classic case of an OFFSPAWN that could go the distance for the whole season. And the reason I say that is because that medallion is so broken, especially in this season, where it's just worth playing. It's one of those tournaments where it's like, both teams, if they win 50-50 off spawn, like they could top 5, top 2, whatever it is in grands, because those 6 games that they get are going to be so good. Like the medallion giving you shield. Like we need to think about this and frame this. I was recording a video this morning where I was looking at Clix's team who ended up dying second to that bug abuser, and I was comparing their off spawn loot to the loot that Poyo got when they won off spawn. Now with the coin, you don't need minis. Firstly, massive thing, because you have 50 shield, you can drop the shield to another teammate who gets it. If you get hit, you can drop it, and it starts recharging your own HP immediately again. Similar to the shield coin previously, it's still got that. I imagine that's a bug where you can drop it and pick it up. Either way, none of them need to take minis, right? What that means is they can all just run bigs or chug jugs, or they can just run that extra heal, like one less heal slot on a team, which now as a trio means you can have the scanning visor, and you can have the base boost. So like you can have multiple people with scanning visors, so you don't have to drop it to each other. Every fight you can scan. Every fight you've got base boost. Everyone's carrying that anyway, right? And you don't need to carry that extra slot for minis. So it's like on top of that, even if you do decide to take another heal, you can now take whites or med mist. You can play storm. You can do different like rotates with that. You can keep away from people when they're trying to base boost everyone by using a med mist and storm instead. So like when you look at the off spawn fight that they're having, I'm like, this spot's worth fighting for. Like there's no doubt in my mind that fighting for that medallion is absolutely worth it because of how the meta currently is. Now, let's be real, it will probably change. Fingers crossed, everyone here, that meta will probably change. So like, will that coin be as worth it? I mean, I still think it is, but probably, it's not going to be as strong because of the fact that visors and base boosts are so broken. It makes the coin even better.
It depends on how they nerf stuff, right? Like my expectation is they're gonna like right now. Obviously, a lot of people might not know, but with the visor, you don't need more than one visor because you can just drop it to your teammate. You can infinitely scam like Graph Coin, but on crack. But if they do inevitably nerf that, which they will, then having that extra inventory slot where you don't carry minis is huge because then all 3 of you can carry visors, and then you can instant scan again, right? So that I think being the benefit is huge. I don't know how many of the dash blobs they get at their spot, but I'm assuming at least 1. But being able to have blasters just as a movement item, I think is fine. I think the item itself is really good for movement. Just needs to be figured out a little bit. Not that you actually need 3 of them, because you can do like shockwave rotates by shooting your teammates forward and stuff.
Do they go that far when they do them?
Yeah, if you do it well and you sprint, it looks exactly like a shockwave. It's actually really good. So in terms of Poyo versus Pete, whether or not they're going to end up leaving, I feel like the mindset from last season of having lack of tournaments and then this season only having 2 divisional cups means there's not much room for you to be like, let's leave, guys. So like they'll want to, usually it's like if you have 5 div cups right before an FNtasia, like, okay, we'll land there for the first one and then we'll see what happens. But then if you lose one week and it's like semi-close, you're like, let's run it again next week, and then all of a sudden we're in FNtasia already, and those 2 weeks of holiday aren't going to be used to like determine a spawn fight in scrims, for example, right? Not that many people are going to scrim in their holidays, I'm assuming. So I think in that case, like the time to FNC's grand finals is so short that it'll just sneak up on them and then they'll just end up landing on each other. Unless something opened up, because there is new drops coming in the season, right? There's already been leaked. So depending on what the drops looks like, a Poyo or a P might be like, this might be worth it more than this other spot that we're at right now.
Yeah, we saw that in season 1, right? When Flooded Frogs got updated, Pete's team moved over there, right? So it's like we know these guys are willing to move if something potentially better opens up. I'd love to get who's like a serial off spawn player, like who's someone who's just been off spawn like every season for the past 3 years or something. Because I want to like do a segment with someone, like with like a player, about the psychology of like off spawn and like. Because in this situation, like you said, Boop, there's not much time in terms of for them to be playing against each other. So like I want to know, like, if you were like Poyo and them, would you, because you have the upper hand right now, numbers-wise, in like actual tournaments, would you actually dodge them in scrims to not give them that confidence? Because like if they start beating you in scrims, now maybe they're thinking, oh, we'll have them next time, so we're going to stay. Whereas like if you don't give them another chance to spawn, now they might start getting in their own heads and going, okay, what do we like? I'd love.
You don't have that issue because it's Cold in one of the teams. Cold isn't going to play the scrims anyways, right?
He's not, he's not dodging. He's just not here.
He's not here.
Also work against them, right? Because what happens if Pete is filling with somebody and then they're winning and they're going to go, well, when we have Cold, we'll definitely win. So it's like
actually that they fill in with though, so it's not much of a problem. But
there's psychology there to be played with. I think it's really, really interesting. as we head over towards, you know, the major 3 finals and then eventually globals. I saw a clip this morning of like Ages talking to Booga, and he was like, this was our spot last season, like we're staying here. And Pete's never won without a mythic, so maybe he should leave so he can finally prove that he's not a dud, you know, and he can win without, you know, the psychology here. I'm liking the mind games that's taking place. And maybe all of this will just benefit Clicks and finally let Clicks get that first FNCS step. And we'll all be happy.
I mean, he arguably has the second best draw, you know.
That's what I'm saying. So
might even be the best drop because the bunkers are coming.
There's something there.
You need levels for the bunkers, so
there is absolutely something there. Boop.
Yes.
I know. I can't believe we've turned into a podcast that spends more time talking about NA than EU. But Boop, give us some of the more interesting EU off spawn battles this season. What have you been thinking?
Yeah, so the EU for this season specifically, a lot more than NA, is looking like it's an globals focused season for these guys, right? We've had a lot of good teams qualify now, and now they're figuring out what they want to do for global. So it's funny, like, a lot of these teams, low-key, might need to hire like a lore master in Fortnite to determine what drops in the map are safe for globals, right? Like, how does Kappa Kappa Pickle Factory go in the Fortnite lore, and is that going to be a safe spot to go to for globals, right? That's legitimately a concern for some of these teams. So a lot of these guys are thinking that way. So, for example, Veno Vika Flixio now landing boxcars, which, you know, has been here the whole season, hasn't changed. Probably, you know, there's some train company business in the world of Fortnite that isn't going bankrupt anytime soon, so it will stay in there for globals potentially.
Hold on, the train is currently stopped by a bunch of cows, though.
You are right.
So they're going to be losing money.
Yeah, they might run out of cash, which means the place is going to have to shut down. It's going to become abandoned.
See, is Veno thinking about this? You know, does he might be listening to the podcast right now, and he might be pacing around his room like, oh my God, they're right. They're right.
Veno's a smart man. Veno's a smart man. I'm sure he's thinking, look, the cows are in the way. They're blocking the train. But once that goes back, there's going to be an insane surge, right? We're investing when it's at its lowest.
People want to go on holiday.
We're buying the dip, bro. We're buying the dip, and it's going to come up, and it's going to be big.
True. Like, they're not getting resources to the train station right now, but who knows what they're coming with on the rotates. Yeah. So that's one of the things.
When it sucks. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's one of the things, right? Like, people are preparing. So that's relevant to multiple teams in EU right now. We have, I believe, 7 teams qualified to globals from EU. Malibuca, you don't really have to worry about because Malibuca lands best on the map usually anyways every season. So that's one of them. Taste and Chicho Risk have now decided to land top right of the map on the Star Wars base, which is interesting because, you know, that is one of those spots where you're scared that it could leave potentially at some point, but that is now landing on Pink, Nebs, and Kiro, who's looking like a very good prospect to make globals now. So that's a worry for those ends. We haven't seen them play each other in scrims yet because Tayson and Jerez still have the Minecraft house beef, which I don't think we've talked about on the podcast because it's been a month since that. But
yeah, can we get the TLDR of that? Because
essentially, there's a Balkan Minecraft surfer. Jerez built a very nice house. Tayson blew that shit up, and then they didn't play the whole season of Star Wars together. And there's still some animosity between the two of them, to the point of where, you know, like, Tayson might not even be playing scrims with them because of Minecraft, or Jerez even. So yeah, there's some freaky shit going on there. That's the type of shit that happens when Epic adds mini seasons, by the way. So something for the future. The only other interesting one I think to mention is Demon Storm and Pix, obviously another globals qualified team from last season, now landing on the Pride splits on the new trio of the season, the new young Danish lads, although not so young anymore, Thomas, AG, Sky, and Skål. You know, the team that looks like is going to bring Denmark back on the map now that Epic Games struck my boy Nas down. Free my mans.
Hold on a minute. Back on the map? Marius put them on the map, mate.
Oh, shit, I forgot about Marius. I see him every day. You know, I see him every day. So, like, sometimes it's easy to forget. You know, it's easy to forget. So proud of him, by the way. So yeah, Demish versus Thomas HD is kind of the big one season spawn fight for EU. The parallel of a globals team and a non-globals team. Ironically enough, though, similarly to the Peterbot and Poyo thing, both coached by the same coach as well. So Coach Sven coaching Demish and coaching Thomas's teams. And apparently they're trying to get Demish to leave because they're the globals team. So, like, they have more aura with spawn fights, right? Although that logic kind of fails a little bit if you really think about it. So far in terms of scrims and yesterday's Eval Cup, it is an overwhelming, I think like 6-2 or something to Demon's Trio right now. So
yeah, I
not
saw they
looking
were
good for the
getting
Danes. Yeah,
when I was watching your stream and they were just getting dookied on game after game. Which, we'll see how that develops. All in all, though, what you need to know if you are a follower of competitive Fortnite or a casual follower of competitive Fortnite is shit's getting interesting. And as we get closer and closer to the Major V finals, like it's the narratives between players and teams is getting really fun to follow. So we'll do our best to keep you updated with all that stuff. And let us know in the comment section below who you think will come out victorious. Will it be Pete? Will it be Poyo? I mean, Poyo does have the upper hand after the win in Major 1, showing that he doesn't need Pete to win an FNCS. If he was to bitch Pete off Spawn, we might have to start having different goal conversations. I'm just saying. That was 0% rage bait.
So 100% honest.
Yeah, so honest. Now, when it comes to the season, outside of just the actual changes to the game and to the different teams and your Spawn battles, there was a lot of controversy and drama and talk about the lack of tournaments. And so I wanted to get some insight. Of course, Boop, you are someone who does watch parties, and so in a way it maybe benefits you way more when there's just non-stop tournaments, but maybe for your own sanity you'd like a bit of an extra break. And Reese, as someone who has started doing watch parties as well and is an avid player of these tournaments, how do you guys feel about the tournament schedule this season? Disappointed, not disappointed? Where do we fall?
I think it stinks. That's my honest answer, mate. I think it stinks. It smells a big pile of poo. It's basically like all of the worst stuff just in 1 week. None of the good stuff that I'm after, right? Let me hit you with this, okay? Let me give you my content creation side, and then I'll go down into the player side. Split it into 2 ways. As a content creator, a lot of the content that I get is from solos. So a lot of the mechanics of the pros videos, a lot of the kind of just like clips of random players just doing good is from solo cash cups, because that's where you're actually going to see how those individual players play. When you see them in team modes, you're not really going to see as much juice. It's harder to get at stuff. It's hard to say, what is this player, from a replay, what's this player giving to this team that I can make a video of? And obviously that's one video, but more players are interested in what they can do individually in a one-on-one rather than how they can contribute to a fight. So, for a mechanics of the pros video, immediately gone. For people interested in solos, not there. No solo cash cups at all. Any solo gameplay, any like how you can improve has to be related to trios, which now absolutely stinks. Like, I think that is a horrible decision. Last season that it wasn't there, I said it was one of the worst decisions. This season's even worse because it's a fool thing. Now, if this is just to get rid of cheaters and not to let cheaters play, I think that's, I don't want to say that's an even worse decision. I don't know the full backing behind why there's no solo cash cups, but like, I don't think that's a fair trade-off. I don't think you're benefiting by just removing the cash cups altogether if it's just for a cheating problem. Again, don't know why they're fully gone, but we've not no solo cash cup sucks. Like, it's just arse. From a player perspective, I usually play 1 tournament a week, roughly, something like that. I don't play every single thing that's available. This season, for me, as a PC player, right? Firstly, that means I can't play the console cups. There's like 7 console cash cups or something like that. I can't remember. I can't play them. I'm not a console player, so I can't do that. OG cups, no prize pool. No one takes them seriously. Not good quality games. Also, OG sucks. What's the other ones? Ranked cups. No one really cares about ranked cups. It's about dropping bombs, dropping high elim games. I'm not really fussed about that either. I'd rather just play ranked or play reload if I wanted to do that. So that leaves the divisional cups. Now I'm in Div 2, which means I can play the Div cups, which are fun, and I will be playing the 2 Div cups that I have available to myself. But outside of that, it's like, right, so I've got 2 Div cups to play. I'm not in Div 1, so I can't play evals. So as a PC player who's not in Div 1, all I can play is 2 tournaments that I really care about. And the other ones are like, I'm not going to play OG, boring. Rank cups, I don't care about personally because I don't need to rank up, right? It's like, so you give me 2 tournaments for a whole season, basically. That is awful. That is just, I know solos. So, and now as a creator, I can't make solo stuff either. Like, That is that's probably the stinkiest season of tournaments that there's ever been.
The problem is it comes off of last season as well, right? It's a double punch, right? Like at the last season, the majority of Division 3 players feeling screwed out. You know, we saw huge drops in player bases within competitive. Viewership as well has been stagnant, and that even overlaps into this season as well. You can see that. It doesn't look great for these guys because, you know, like all these people just want to do is they want to have that path to pro, right? Like that might be delusional, right? But let people live in delusion and let them play tournaments that they can try to enjoy and try to improve upon, right? Like a lot of these, you know, this has been a thing that's always been an issue, like for the past 3 years. Like, how do I find teammates in trios? Well, do good in solos. That's always been the mantra in Fortnite competitive. You take away that path, all these guys have no motivation for trios because they feel like they can't show and express themselves. You know, we've always had the yearn for a big solo tournament every season, and that's for good reason. So because we can see people come up. Now, solo victory cups aren't really a way for people to come up, but it's a nice little thing to give people some sort of hope and chance when it comes to the realm of competitive. So yeah, 2 tournaments is a slap in the face. Unfortunately, solo casting being removed, I feel like is cheaters, right? Even though I think there's some other people have some other interesting theories about why they might have removed it, but the most obvious one just seems like I feel like the only reason for something like this is that they're developing something like a divisional solo tournament and they just have to have someone code it. So like while they do that, we might just take a hit on this season and just not have any solos while we develop that, right? Or they're just trying to bore the cheaters so much that they just end up playing another game, which could be the case as well. It's like, fuck this game, bro. I'm gonna go cheat in Valorant now. You know, the worst. So yeah, it's I hate that, and you can just see that in just the general consensus of Div 3 and Div 2 type of players that they just you're slowly losing the spark of these players, and that's the meat of Fortnite competitive, right? And I did the math on like player count. Like Fortnite community isn't a huge part of the overall thing, but it's still like a 300 to 400,000 unique player base, and that's gonna be affecting like player counts as well, right? Like that's gonna dip into the overall profits of Epic Games as well when they bring numbers to like sponsors and shit. Like
there's also like the retention of the competitive community.
Yeah, exactly. The retention is the main thing.
Game.
Like I made a tweet about it. It's like these players, what would you want? Like obviously, I don't know who spends more money, right? But I can only assume that you'd want someone that plays the game 5 hours every day, 7 times a week, versus someone that plays it 2 hours 5 times a week in a casual base, right? Like there should be at least some more respect given because like those players are the ones populating the numbers to some extent. Like probably makes at least 20% of the player base, which if you lose 20% of your business, that's a huge chunk. You'd expect. So I'm trying to make it like more like, hey guys, you're losing money. Like come Epic, if you're listening, because like I'm sure they know.
Going, nah, we're not losing money.
Oh my god, he's right. No, we're selling. Don't you worry, Bill. We're selling FNtasia pickaxe. Shut the fuck up.
One of the things I think is on kind of to add to what you said there is, firstly, I know competitive players spend the most money. That's why every game wants to get competitive players around. But one of the reasons they spend the most money is because of the habits of players of games. So this is actually something that he didn't say specifically towards tournaments, but what's his name? What's the CEO called? Sorry, I've totally blanked. Ben Sweeney. Yeah, sorry. He went on that podcast with
Lex Friedman.
Lex Friedman's one, yeah. And I watched a bit of it. And he talked in a very interesting way about the habits of how players play games in the modern day. He said most players now are in a friend group of sorts, right? So you and your friends, you'll play a game. It'll come out, you'll play it. A new game will come out. You'll leave that previous game and you'll go and play that. And the way he talked about it in Fortnite, I may butcher this, but the way he talked about it in Fortnite is like, you can always, like the game people always seem to come back to with this is Fortnite, right? So we have a game that's a base. Like a new game will come out, people might not be as interested in Fortnite for a little bit, but they always come back, they play Fortnite, their friend group stays interested in it, and it kind of repeats in this cycle. Now, if you think about this in the way that with competitive players don't do that. They stay on Fortnite for years. Like, I play other games. Like I got the Switch 2, by the way, banger console, unreal piece of kit, right? And I play some, Pokemon to chill in the evenings and relax. But like, I'm still just playing Fortnite. That's my main game, and it has been for since 2018, 2019. It's just like most competitive players are the same. They might dip their toes into another game when they're relaxing, but every week, almost every day, they are playing Fortnite. So to take away some of the main tournaments from these core players is going to impact the amount that they play Fortnite. And because these players are the ones who play the most, they do spend the most. They are 100%. They are the people who spend the most. And you're now giving like these people less offerings for that. I think that's a fairly poor decision. And I'm not sure where this decision came from, because like no one ever said, let's get rid of Soul Cash Cups. I mean, when you die in one, you go, fuck this shit. But like, 10 minutes, 10 minutes after the tournament.
I've heard remove solos be a thing tweeted a lot. Remove solos, fuck solos a lot.
But like, if next day, right, if you mess that guy and be like, do you really think they should remove Soul Cash Cups? So like, no, I'm just pissed off.
I'm just angry.
Exactly, So
he queued up the next one. So.
Exactly. And you queue up the one after, and you queue up the one after that. And you never do good, and you still queue him anyway, because that's the way that does it, right? So yeah, I think this is a real miss for a multitude of reasons, and I might obviously I won't be able to share publicly. I might have to speak to someone just to see, like, I want to know what's happening.
What's happened?
Like, what was the actual decision behind it, right?
Yeah, that's what I want to know, because like this seems there must be more to it than just there's a lot of cheaters but doing good.
With one thing I've learned from talking to people about Epic Games, there's always more to it.
Yeah,
there's a specific reason.
It's never as stupid as it's like there's always obviously we make fun of people a lot, but there's always more to give credit to than what most people would on the face value of it.
Yeah, of course.
For sure. Like and I've had this with like other companies, not necessarily like game publishers, but like, like in what we do, like we end up working with like big companies. And sometimes like I'll talk to someone at a big company, I'm like, oh, you've got no clue. Like this is like, problematic. And I've genuinely never had a conversation with someone from Epic when it comes to stuff about the game where I've like been like, oh, that doesn't feel like you guys actually, you know what I mean? Like there's always very
aware.
Good. Yeah, like they're very aware.
Most of the time, when you suggest something, you're like, this is a heater idea. This is a kook. Like, how have you not thought of this? And then they just give you the most like obvious, this is why this won't work answer.
And then you go,
idiot.
I unfortunately have had that feeling
many times. Yeah. Because like ultimately they know much more than we do. So
they just have more context.
Yeah. There's a lot of context they're missing because they're not players.
Right.
I wish there was some stuff I could share here because there's some really interesting examples I could give. But obviously, I'm not going to talk about private conversations. But like, there's context that they're missing, but then there's a lot of context that we're missing. I think that's the easiest way to put it, right?
The always obvious thing to say as well, like, guys, like Epic Games knows that people want solos. They know they want this and that. Like, of course they do. Like the idea to tweet like, "Oh my god, what the fuck are they doing? Are they dumb? Like, do they not know we want it?" Like, of course they do. But like, there is always a reason why something happens, and like we will never know that reason. Unfortunately, that's probably the common issue we've always had is like communication. I think Epic would love it if they just said, "Hey guys." We've noticed a trend. We're going to try to do this in order to combat it because we're working on different systems in the future. I think they don't want to promise things and then not have it be delivered on time. I think they're a busy company. That's the main problem. But communication, I always tell them, like, guys,
transparency.
If you just told them this, I don't think anyone would mind. Every time there's an announcement about something specific, cheaters getting things. Look at all the responses. Nick A30, Curse JD, all the big streamers, YouTubers, the comp players are like, W's, good shit, guys. This is like you like to see. Like, I don't see why they wouldn't want to do that, but I'm sure again there's another reason why they can't share all these things like stupid boop.
There's always is, but I think as a general philosophy, like moving more in that direction of being transparent and being open and honest, because it's like it's I had this conversation with Harry, who's not here today, but like the comp account, like the actual FN competitive account. Obviously, like we know who runs that and everything, so I know that they don't necessarily have the power to do this, but it's like the comp account's been much more vocal and in the community per se, right?
Yeah.
And it's like that people, I think a lot of people in the community have enjoyed that, right? It's been nice. It feels like, hey, FN competitors more human. Nice. That needs to apply when it comes to the difficult conversations as well, right? Like it can't just be like, you're our friends. Hey, we're mates. We're in the community. And then when
comment on your post, boys.
Yeah, I'll comment on your post. But like when things are like, hey guys, we're solos, it's like silence. It's like enough. It needs to, extend. And so hopefully we can see them move more in that direction. I think one of the things that makes this really hard as well is that, we've had conversations similar to this on the pod before, where it's like there's been times where there's felt like there's too much going on. There's too many tournaments. But the problem we have in Fortnite is that outside of tournaments, if you are like a hardcore player, like there's just nothing really interesting to do, right? It's not like other games where you have like a really fun, rewarding rank system that you can just grind out and play and feel like there's not like third party offerings that are like that great outside of like noble scrims or whatever, you know? So it's like you're in a position where if there aren't loads of tournaments, you feel like you have nothing to do, right? And so it's a tough spot. It's a tough spot to be in. It's interesting with like the console stuff. I don't know if do we know when like mobile Fortnite is going to be available like more widely across the world? Because I also would have thought that they would have done like mobile tournaments with like,
or just included them
mobile
in the console,
but you because they used to do,
yeah.
So it's like that's one thing as well, because like they've obviously been pushing this mobile thing coming back a lot. It's been a big deal, the legal battles between Epic and Apple. So I did assume the second mobile came back in any capacity that they were going to just run a bunch of mobile tournaments. But I don't really think that's something we've seen or announced.
One thing I thought was really interesting was I was like, what's the player numbers going to look like when this mobile stuff hits? And, you know, looking at like the days when mobile, you know, iPhone players could come back, like,
but it's still not available in so many markets, and I think it's not available in so many of the markets where it would have an increase. You know what I mean? It's like
Indonesia, Philippines, Malaysia,
in Asia and LATAM. Once you can play Fortnite mobile, I do think you see the player count jump up.
I think the thing is, you've always been able to play on mobile, though, have you not? It was not specifically Apple where it's been the problem. Yeah. So like a lot of these countries are they playing on an iPhone, or is that on?
Probably not. I think there's like I know for Indonesia specifically, there's like local company phones and like gaming phones you can buy and shit.
Exactly.
Is it that case? Is it only for Apple, or did they?
It's been available on the Play Store for a while now. No,
I've played it for years on my phone because when I not played it, but when I need to like test something and I need another player, I got my laptop, and if I need a third player, mate, the phone's getting plugged in. You know, and
maybe LATAM is the big one, because right now it's where is it available? I think right now it's only USA and like Europe.
Yeah.
We can't get
the two biggest populations.
The UK soon as well.
We don't have it in the UK. I know they don't have it in Canada yet. I think LATAM probably the biggest one. Like I assume LATAM, a lot of them are probably still using like Apple phones in a lot of them places in like Brazil and Argentina.
When we had mobile tournaments, the player counts weren't great on them either. There was sub 1,000 on like the biggest regions as well. I know that mobile is a great market for like Garena is one of the big games for Philippines, and obviously a PUBG. But I don't know. Maybe it's just not like a popular game for those type of players. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was just curious about that because.
Well, I mean, the real question is why are they pushing so hard into the console? And that's when you'd think that it must be a cheater thing.
Yeah, it has to be.
They can't do it on console. Which that then, when you look into why solo cash outs removes, it just gives more weight to the fact that I think cheating is just a massive problem, and someone's just been like, can't cheat on console.
Just give them tournaments.
Yeah. Which I don't know. I mean, I understand, but either way, we're making a lot of assumptions.
There's an irony here as well that like cheaters ruin Fortnite, but then they also remove their own business now. Because now kids aren't buying cheats to play solo cash out, it's kind of a double-edged sword for a lot of these cheat providers, which is kind of interesting. Yeah, maybe they're just trying to board them. Yeah.
Well, let's talk about cheat providers because another lawsuit has come through. Bomber. A big bomber because
I said they're bums, mate. But,
bums. I heard bomb.
Suddenly I've got a very patois accent all of a sudden.
Reese, bloody hell. All right. Look, Epic have sued another cheat maker. They announced it on like a different Epic account than like the comp account. It was like the Epic communications account or some shit. I don't know. The actual Twitter account
didn't have as much aura as the previous one.
It didn't. It wasn't as sassy because the other ones are very sassy. I
gotta find that tweet. It was like, you think you can cheat in Fortnite?
Wrong! You were wrong.
It was so good. It was such a good tweet.
I gotta meet the person who made that tweet, like specifically.
Oh yeah.
They were typing it with a grin. I spoke to someone from the legal team about that, And when I did, they were very much like, yeah, we wanted to make them spicy. Like we wanted to, so like it was an intentional thing from them, which I love. Look, do you have the article up, Boot? Because this basically from what we've read and seen online about this lawsuit, this is quite a popular cheat maker. And they are screwed from what I can gather.
So it seems like a lot of the cheating providers or cheaters, they think that they can do even more than just cheat in video games. It seems like, especially with this person. But I want to say one thing first, real quick. I wish they would just tweet out the person's name when they make those announcements. You know, like last time they said, "Oh, we'll sue this," or the community has to go look up the lawsuit. Like just slam dunk say their name, because like that has more impact than like suing a cheater has impact, right? To get people to be like scared to cheat. But like if it's someone like if all of a sudden like the biggest cheater in NA or EU gets banned and sued, and then you can say, "Oh, this guy got sued" in the tweet. Everyone's like, "Oh shit, okay, they got him. You know." But a lot of the times, the average player is not going to look into it, and then like it doesn't have the effect that it is. But yeah, the person that got sued is one by the name of FNtasia, who's apparently the guy who's behind banter cheats, which I don't know much about cheating, but I've heard of it before. Therefore, it's probably very well known. One of the more
popular ones.
And long story short, essentially, this person was responsible for around 15,000 accounts of cheats and getting banned. So a very, very big cheat provider, it seems like.
That's a lot of bloody cheats.
Making cheats like 2023, also known as Cincy cheats, I guess, as well. But the big drum, at least the stupid thing that this person also did is that Epic apparently sent a bunch of DMCA takedowns to the YouTube channel. And in response to that, this individual pretended to be Epic, counter impersonated a copyright message, and then like got the YouTube videos reinstated by pretending to be Epic Games. So they also got him on copyright infringement, which is interesting because the main court document that I'm looking at here is not about cheating. It's about copyright infringement, which maybe that's how it is for cheating. I think that might be the last
a lot of that is because you're breaking EULA or whatever.
Right, yeah, okay.
So it's like sense. you're infringing our copyright in this regard anyway, and you're breaking the rules that way. You've signed this contract and now you're breaking that. So a lot of cheating falls under copyright anyway, which is a little bit strange, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyways, like, so there's a double slam dunk because I think copyright infringement is quite a serious thing as well. If you didn't think cheating in video games was serious, I think copyright infringement is quite a serious.
And Epic are very protective of their IP as a whole and as a company, right? So if you ever impersonating them to get your shit on DMCA'd has got to be the most foolish thing you could possibly do. Like
just upload another video to another channel, mate. Like it's not.
I mean, like you like to go through.
Like it has that many views, right? Surely.
Yeah.
The last thing I want to say real quick about this though, which is quite important in this case, because last time they sued the cheat provider, only the person that develops the cheat. This time the same, but they're also going after the people that sell them on their behalf, right? So the main reason people cheat in Fortnite, if you guys don't know, like they're selling cheats, they're trying to make money. So you've got like the head honcho at the top who's made the cheats. And then you've got a bunch of people that distribute the cheats throughout the system. Those are the names that you would recognize on the leaderboards for cheating every single time. Those are the ones that are making money for the top cheat provider, sort of like an affiliate thing, right? So them going after drug dealers for the kingpin, essentially. So them going after the individuals is quite a big thing because hey, they're going after the main ones as well, not only the cheat providers. So
if you think in your mind, right, you're like, are drug dealers cool guys? Probably not, right? So next time you see a cheater in Fortnite, you're like, look at this fucking bum. Like, look at this guy. Look at the choices he made. Yeah. I think what's interesting about this is in the article they talk about, so it says Epic did not specify monetary amounts it's seeking in damages from Atas and the 5 other defendants in this lawsuit. So firstly, that's the people you've mentioned. So 6 people total, that's kind of crazy. But it's looking for the usual relief. Statutory and compensatory damages for lost profits. What that means is essentially they've lost money by Fortnite having the reputation as a game where people cheat and they won't play. So you've damaged the reputation. So that's a lot of money. If they win that, obviously they might not win that, but that's it. Attorney fees and then other costs associated with lawsuits. So like Those damages could be insane.
Hey, look, I'm trying to help Epic here. I stopped playing tournaments because of cheaters. So if
Yeah, me
if you
too.
want to use this clip in court, I stopped playing tournaments because there was too many cheaters.
Yeah. I have spent $100,000 in Fortnite and I stopped playing. I would have spent another $100,000 had this guy not cheated.
He's not wrong, Epic. He's not wrong. I've seen the money. I've seen the money.
Flip it and ship it. Come on.
Yeah. See how many bucks I would have bought. Hey, we could have. Maybe that's why they stopped making little cash cups. I stopped buying V-Bucks.
Yeah, you were funding them before, mate.
I know.
Now they don't have the prize for it.
Some LTD was all over that. Yeah. So it's...
no, that's really interesting. One thing for me, and that one of you guys mentioned before we started recording, like this guy's not in America, right? Because like the other guy that they did was American. This guy is like
he's Australian,
the Philippines or something. Oh, he's Australian.
Turkish.
Yeah, okay, there you go. So it's like, Turkish.
The last guy.
Either way,
last guy was Australian. This guy's Turkish.
Yeah. Because like that's another big thing that I think is like almost like a myth of like, if I'm not in America and I'm cheating, like what are they gonna do to me? You know,
a lot doesn't apply here in Europe, guys.
You know, so for you dumb kids out there who want to cheat, they can catch you. If you're chilling, you know, if you're sitting in Germany somewhere thinking, let me get my cheat on, they'll get you.
Well, one of the guys who I think may be one of the 5, I haven't checked this yet, but he did have to shut down his social media that I know was one of the guys who was featured in one of my videos. So I'm not sure if it was one of the people who, I'm not sure if that was associated with this. Another thing I should also mention is that sometimes cheat providers just say they're getting sued because they owe people money. No, because they're leaving. They're like being sued. Can't do this anymore, guys. Yeah. So they like, that's how they, basically that's their rug pull of the community. So I'm not sure if this guy who's in, I'm not going to name him just for the sake of it, but like it was in one of my videos, who has removed all of his social media now. I think maybe part of this. I'm not 100% on that, but
I'm also I feel like I'm seeing a lot less cheater stuff on the timeline as well. Maybe because obviously Division 1 is hard to get into, but like I feel like I've seen a lot less of it. So like
there's no tournaments with it's cheating.
That is true. That is true. But like usually you see like montages of people like chilling pros and shit. Like I haven't seen those ones in a while, you know?
Maybe anytime I see that now, I'm just going to start at Epic Games. That's what I'm going to do.
Yeah, but you give them more impressions. That's the thing. Like, I always tell people, like, stop replying to that shit. Because, like, you're just giving it more impressions. And it makes them want to do it more, you know? Like, especially with, like, a cheater streams. Like, just don't watch the stream. They like having the extra viewers. It's pointless.
It's been a long time since I've seen a cheater stream.
Solo Cash Cup. If you want to see a cheater stream, just watch Moto stream, bro. He always does cheater viewing party. But he likes. I think they screen share for him as well. They love it. They love it. I don't know. Yeah.
Well,
coaching a cheater.
Guys, stop cheating in Fortnite.
Just play the game for fun, man. Just have fun.
Play the game for fun. Yeah. Or just don't play the game and just watch and listen.
Cheat in Valorant.
You know. Yeah,
cheating Valorant.
Actually, and Riot to me.
No, you know Riot soon.
I mean, Valorant is actually a game I've developed, super separate from another Riot thing. Yeah.
You like Riot games, don't you?
Yeah, I love Riot.
No. Well, guys, thank you for joining me on this week's episode of the podcast. We will be back next week. For the people wondering why there was no Cooper interview in the end.
Bye.
Well, it's funny. So if you've made it this far in the episode, I'll give you the backstory here.
Yeah, you're not Epic Games. You're gonna give the community.
Yeah, I can give the comms. So Cooper and I have attempted to do some form of content with each other. Probably now 7 times. Not kidding. Like from back last year, like we tried to get him on Hotline FN, right? And like we had to reschedule getting him on Hotline FN about 5 times because like maybe one time he couldn't do it because like he mistook a time in. There was a time when like Ozzy couldn't do it, so we didn't do it. Then like we just kept having to reschedule, and so like every time it got to a point where I felt bad. I was like, I'm gonna stop asking him because I feel bad because every time like we just have to reschedule it. Then obviously last week we were supposed to, well not last week, a couple weeks ago we were supposed to do it. He wasn't at home and didn't have the setup ready, so we had to reschedule it. Then he was like, yo, can we do another time? And then we were going to do that time, but then nobody else was available outside of me, and I was like, I don't want it to just be me and him. So like, we rescheduled again, and so now it's just like we probably won't have Cooper on soon.
When are you gonna get the hint?
Yeah, she doesn't want you, Levin. She doesn't want you.
Yeah, you know, you can keep asking, but
no, but it's not even about the what. Like, she does want me, but like,
well, that's what you think.
Timing it right.
That's what she's telling you. Yeah,
he's ghosting me.
Yes, she's telling you that she wants, but sometimes words, they're not all that. Sometimes actions actually speak louder.
You know, maybe you're right.
I mean, why? I mean, unfortunately, that was Cludex last week. I'm sorry for that, guys. By the way, I'm sorry for having Cludex.
You are the reason that happened.
Was it?
Like it's directly because of you. Like you weren't here.
Yeah, that is true. But I couldn't muster up the courage to talk about Star Wars season in that season. You know, like
you know, respect.
Yeah, respect. Who knows the things that would have come out of my mouth in that season? Fucking hell.
Look, out of all 4 of the main hosts, Levin is the only one who did a podcast during the Star Wars season.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it was me, Teddy, and
I mean, Teddy's pretty much your main host these days.
Yeah, true.
I think Teddy's definitely done more eps than
now. He's gotta be.
Yeah, he's definitely done more eps than like either Boop or Harry. One of them.
He's our number one ginger of this year.
No chance more than me.
Someone count it. I'm sure Teddy might have the second most eps this year.
He could.
This year, maybe.
I had a strong start to the year, but I've been busier after that. Yeah.
You did, yeah. Sorry for no eps the past 2 weeks. I was at TwitchCon, and then it was like the last week of Star Wars season. I was like, I'm not interested.
I'm not fucking sorry. Fuck that.
We're not.
You would have watched it anyways. Like they wouldn't even watch those episodes.
True. They, you know what? They show with their choice of viewership. They just don't watch when they don't care. All right, guys. Thank you very much. We'll see you guys next week. And bye.
Peace.